poor black South Africans. If only you knew that this is what the ANC planned, I don't think you would have voted for the ANC. In 1994, 27th of April, I do not think that you could have stood long queues voting for this nonsense. The damage that the apartheid government has caused is irreparable, especially when we have sellout comrades who are still there, who are still in charge. Salute squatters. Welcome back to another episode. We always continue to engage. We always have to talk about these issues because we believe that South Africa needs some sort of communication. South Africa needs some sort of talks. We need to get together as black South Africans and talk about our pains, our sorrow, so that we can know what is a way forward from here. People who could have really liberated us, they were either assassinated or threatened. Samora Machel of the Frelimo party was assassinated in 1986, 19th of October. His plane crashed in Bozene Komati Port just before it crossed to Maputo. He was ready for war with the South African government, the apartheid government. Let me be short. In my view, the apartheid government killed Samora Machel, the president of Mozambique. They orchestrated that. If you can check all the archives and everything and combine them together, you will get an answer. The apartheid government killed every black person who was fighting for black people. They killed everyone and only remained with spies, useless people that we have today. The very same people in the ANC that you see surviving today, still alive and in the leadership, are the most useless people. The most useless people remained. Patriotic people who wanted to really liberate us as black people. You can talk about Mozambique. Well, they could not touch Robert Mugabe, the late Robert Mugabe. Mozambique gained independence in 1974. 1974, they gained independence through the leadership of Samora Machel. 1980, Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, formerly known as Rhodesia, they also gained independence through the leadership of Robert Mugabe. 1980. Then our tiger there at Robben Island started kicking doors, started fighting. The apartheid government tried to negotiate with him and wanted to convince him to take a raw deal. He refused. They tortured him. They removed him, took him to the hospital, wherever they took him. But he couldn't survive. They hated black people. That's what happened to the men who went to prison to liberate us. Not these sellouts. Not these sellouts. The 1986 crash there in Bozene was a sophisticated assassination. It was planned. It was orchestrated. There was a decoy that interfered with the signal. There was no crew members or pilot who was drunk, whatever. There's no such. The South African apartheid government later then instituted an investigation. Well, they were investigating themselves, so you know the results already. The apartheid government caused a damage which will be very much difficult. It needs people with, with brains to fix the mess that they have caused. They've caused a mess. Ruth First was killed by the apartheid government. Many, there's a whole lot. Solomon Mahlangu, you can mention many of them. They actually got rid of everyone who wanted to liberate black people until they got to Comrade Krizan. Until they got to him. 1991, in Durban, the National Executive Committee Elective Conference, Krizani embarrassed Thabo Mbeki with the support. They were both competing to deputize Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela knew that he doesn't want Krizani to deputize him because he knew that he had already made deals that he was about to sign for. It was pre-concluded negotiation. The CODESA negotiations were pre-concluded. They were just formalizing them so that they can sign all those nonsensical deals. How come 30 years later, the 7% population, which is white people, owns 74% of land in South Africa? How come South Africa is still one of the most unequal society in the whole world, 30 years after democracy? So, Krizani embarrassed Thabo Mbeki in 1991 at the elective conference. He got 1,800 and something votes. Thabo Mbeki got 800 and something votes. Then they started to become rivals now, 1991. So the ANC cannot tell us they were not part of that. They actually worked with the apartheid government to get rid of some of the struggle, people who were pushing for the liberation of people. The same thing that happened in Mozambique. They're trying to hide it, but there were people who survived that crash, who told their own stories, an eyewitness story. After the crash, the soldiers were already there. There was a camp 2 weeks before the plane could pass there. The soldiers, South African Defence Force, they were camping there in Mbuzini, exactly on that spot, waiting for the plane to crash. Because why? There was a loud bang before the plane could crash, which simply means the plane was attacked. So, black South Africans, you continue to have hopes of some sort from the ANC. ANC has got nothing for you. ANC is part of the criminal syndicate. That is why you see there's a whole lot of crime that is happening, because the state is run by criminals. Simple as that. People who are remaining now in the government, people who are running this country now, themselves are criminals. The same president that is running this country now had a hand in the Marikana massacre. Nothing happened to him. Literally, they've got blood in their hands. So why do you think someone so cruel will change your life? Why do you still continue to have hopes, to pin your hopes on the African National Congress? It's a rotten party which was infiltrated by the apartheid government so that it can become its people's enemy. People loved ANC. ANC didn't love people. ANC only cared about itself. It is suffering from self-love. No, we are doing self-correct. We want to regain the votes. We want to fix the party. They don't care about the people. They care about their political party. The apartheid government was sponsoring Frelimo so that they can fight Frelimo. They can fight Samora Machel's administration. And Frelimo was a military force which turned into a political force, a political party. So it was sponsored by the South African apartheid government to fight because they could see that Samora Machel has got a potential and he's fixing Mozambique. And they did not want unity. Remember, the apartheid government was surviving on the divide and rule approach. Make them fight so they can rule. They caused so much damage to black people, especially to black people. That is why Mugabe got angry and told Tony Blair, keep your Britain, I'll keep my Zimbabwe. They went for independence. ANC will never give land to the people, to black South Africans. It will never do that because they are still binded by the CODESA negotiation deals that they signed. That agreement still stands. They can't change. Otherwise, if they change, if they do something different, that's why these Afrikaners, they ran to Donald Trump to report Ramaphosa. Yeah, he wants to take our land. So Donald Trump can pull the files. The ANC files are there in Washington, D.C. That White House has got so many, files. So they can pull the files and say, oh, you are taking land from them and you signed for this. Oh, we're going to pull the files. They can cause divisions. They can bring evidence that will divide the country. The ANC must never try. In fact, they will not go that far. Why Ramaphosa is saying he will send a delegate to talk to Donald Trump? Why are you begging that man? One man. So South Africa must just beg Donald Trump and Elon Musk because they know the secrets. They know the secrets. So money played a major role because even if you look at the late comrade Mamuin, she tried to confront this monster. She tried. It was said for Meg Raka-Machel to lose, her husband. But as much as money plays the biggest role. Money talks, the rest walks. She agreed to be the first lady in South Africa after Nelson Mandela divorced Mamuini. Mamuini decided to keep the Mandela surname in honor of her husband, the one that she knew, not this one. Not this one. This one was a political arrangement, arranged marriage between him and Meg Raka-Machel. Money. If you are so much in love with money, you'll be tempted for that. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened, but it happened. It happened. Nelson Mandela was bitter and wanted to punish Mamuini. So he took Meg Raka-Machel, the wife of the late president of Mozambique. So all these issues, they emanate from that sinkhole. So it is going to be difficult for us to fix this issue. Very much difficult. It is going to be very complex. So the damage that was caused and the ANC sellouts, the biggest problem here is the ANC which sold out. They sold us out to the apartheid government, to the Afrikaners, for 30 pieces of silver. That is why we are here. So, 7% of the population still owns 74% of land. Coloreds, 15%. Indians, probably 4%, I'm not sure. So, but you see, a larger portion is owned by just 7%. And they still refuse to share the land with us. Afrikaners, they still refuse. They rather go to Donald Trump and report that we want to take their land that they stole from us. In 18 something, the Group Areas Act and all those unjustifiable laws, they pushed us that we cannot stay near white people. We must be there in the townships, and they must be there. Only politicians got reparations in South Africa. All of us we got nothing. We continue to be poor. We continue to be unemployed. We continue to face poverty. We continue to be landless. And we say it's business as usual. We must just carry on. No. When you speak about this thing, no, you are complaining too much. No. Just let's move on. Let's forget about apartheid. Let's forget about, no, ANC is not corrupt. A rotten party like ANC continues to make people suffer. It's so sad. I'm sitting here, I want to see how they will resolve this. Because it's over with ANC. It's over. It's over. There's no more liberation movement. Nothing. It's in tatters. ANC is just crippled. Belongs to the history. To the dustbin history. There. It belongs there in the dustbin of history. It is so sad because many people had hopes. And now many people are hopeless. Because the reality is that we are not going to get back the land. That is the reality. As long as the ANC is still there, they will play hide and seek. They will bluff. The CODESA negotiations still binds them. The one that Thabo Mbeki, Nelson Mandela and Cyril Ramaphosa signed for. The one that cost Comrade Krizani's life. It cost him his life so that they can continue with this nonsense. We are a long way to go, South Africa. If you are hoping that there will be change, no. You are daydreaming. There's nothing here. These people have betrayed us many years ago. And only them, they know. Unfortunately, some of our innocent citizens still have hopes. No liberation at all. Nothing. They have eliminated all the people who had the potential to do that. And we are remaining with useless people who are going to push the same agenda of the apartheid government in a flashback, in a certain way that is not violent. They hit you with policies. Hey, the law says that what? Hey, the law. Law this, law that. The Afrikaners, they say, they will not surrender land without compensation. They will not agree to land expropriation without compensation. Yet they stole the land. Black people were dispossessed of land. They know it's a fact. It's well known. But they will not surrender. They rather fight. Will South Africa become a better country? No. Was a rainbow nation true? No, it was just a dream. There's no rainbow nation here. There's nothing. It's only the superiority continuing to oppress the inferior. People who are poor, they continue to be oppressed, so that they remain poor, they remain landless. Only the clever ones, got themselves some share. So all of these ANC leaders are useless. All of them. Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma, Cyril Ramaphosa, the same thing. Useless. The problem didn't start there when they became presidents. The problem started with the deals that they signed during the CODESA negotiations. We are suffering now, 30 years later, because of what they signed 30 years ago, 30-something years ago, 1991. So when we went for elections, the Afrikaners knew already, the apartheid government knew already that they had won TKO. So South Africa, get yourself prepared for a long journey. For a long journey. Thank you for watching my content, squatters. I'm so grateful. Let's grow this channel. Let's continue subscribing. The little that we have, let's share. Let's talk about this. We are not provoking anyone. We are not causing any chaos. We're just talking about our history and to give people a signal that if they still have hopes, they better think again. Sharp squatters.